Hey, silly goose. Already playing in her pool. You just got up. Your silly giggles. Brittany and Tiffany are out and about. And Lulu's eating her breakfast. I still gotta get Willow her breakfast. Good morning. Top of the morning. It's not even top of the morning. It's bottom of the morning. I woke up a little early today. So let me get in here and get Willow some breakfast. I'll show you. We got some big plans for this. I'll talk to you here in a second. I know they're getting big. You guys got food. Probably could use some more water. All right, let's grab y'all. I only got 2 hands, so I'm gonna have to leave my coffee out here. We're gonna have to come back for it. So let me go take this inside actually quick, and then we'll come right back because I got some things I want to spill. Quite a few beans, and maybe show off. We didn't record. We did a project. We didn't record it. I think it turned out okay, but I'll go ahead and show it off here so you guys can see and just talk about some future plans. So be right back. All right. Coffee first. Here's Elvis. Elvis is in the house. Well, first off, I'm going to walk down this way. So as you can see, the fence line that we're putting in, how it kind of goes in that direction. I know, right? So if I get you all turned around really quickly, or not quickly, but slowly, to look at the paddock. Paddock is growing. That's fine. It will be taken care of next month when the animals come. But looking back, right, so I'm in line with the fence, and you can kind of see the door to the coop does not line up with the fence, right? It's not in line with the fence. It's angled more away, kind of towards the house. And my OCD wife, being who she is, would like it to line up. So this coop is not, and no, that it has nothing to do with Gladys. We actually both, I think I thought of it first, and then has suggested it that it needs to be turned. But this whole coop is not really attached to the floor or to the ground. The only thing that's buried in the ground is this post here that has the solar array for their doors, right? And this post is then concreted in the ground. This post has concrete in it as well. Okay, but then the coop is attached to it. Now, where the screws are, there's 2 or 3 of them in there. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to because you kind of see where these screws are right here. You got one right there and one right there. Well, those screws have a screw here, a screw here, a screw here, a screw here. Well, those are all part of where the birds are at, right? So I don't think I'm gonna have access, so I'm gonna have to cut these screws off from the outside. It's gonna be interesting trying to do that with a sawzall. Reciprocating saw, right? It's a reciprocating sawzall is a brand. but it's the type of saw is reciprocating. So, but anyway, we want to be able to shift this to where the door is facing more out towards the ridge to kind of line up with the fence, right? So it'll be facing out because the fence and all this over here eventually is going to be garden space, right? Once, because this is moving to behind the house. The tent, that's going away. The metal building is going away. And then that shed is moving that way. And then that tent is going away. And that metal building is going to go to the front over by Mom and Dad's cabin site. But that is only really going to hold like Dad's junk stuff, like a lot of his junk stuff here, right? And some metal scraps and things like that. But anyway, we have talked about, to where we're going to be doing a shop, right? So pretty close to the length of that concrete. I think it's a little bit longer. It's a 30 foot by 30 by 80 is what we're looking at doing. 30 by 80. And it's going to have multiple things in it. We've already talked about that, right? But obviously this season, right, all this stuff is so muddy. And we talked about, on a few others is, love thy neighbor and barter when you can. Well, we had bartered some cedar posts for some possible tractor work in the future. And it's just going to take a long time before that could happen because of this season, right? The rainy season. Just no way it's going to get over. I could probably bring a dozer guy in to get some of the work done. It would probably work out better than, because a tractor is just going to get stuck. I know it's going to get stuck, right? Plus we need a tractor with a loader, and the folks that we had worked with, which I don't know, they might have released the video by now. I don't know. But anyway, Mike and Alyssa from Drifting Dreamers 5, they had needed some more cedar logs. So, and, Mike had offered up some work to be done for some logs. And I was like, we could do some tractor work. But I think by the time it gets down to it, by the time we could actually get out here to do any type of tractor work, I might already have another tractor, because that's in the works, right? I'm still budgeting and doing that stuff, and hopefully, by this summer, when we could probably do tractor work, hopefully, fingers crossed, that I'll be able to get one. But as of right now, what I do need help with is turning this thing. I have a plan in place that will be its own video. So just know I do have, I'm thunking, right? I'm thunking. So we will see kind of how that goes. But that needs to be turned. And then it's not staying like that. We're actually going to build onto it, make it bigger. It's still going to be kind of a two-parter, because we want to have egg-laying hens, and then we want to have free-ranging, chicks that, like different, because I think we're only keeping 15 for eggs, like 50, because that's basically all the eggs we really need. The amount of eggs that 15 chicks can produce for the year. And then, other than that, I don't know, we'll kind of play it by ear, but we're going to start off with 15. And that's including, water glassing eggs for the winter. And then from there, all the rest of the chicks are going to be basically, chickens are going to be going into the paddock area, from the coop. And it's basically free range, right? And I'm pretty sure some of them will hop the fence and they'll come over to this area. Okay, sure, that's fine too. Whatever. But we need to add on to that. And I think that's, for one, turning this coop is going to require more than just me. So I am going to need some assistance on that. So I've reached back out to Mike to say, hey, we'll go ahead and thwart the tractor stuff, because yeah, this isn't going to get done anytime soon, and I know that. But I do want to kind of talk on what we're going to do with this, and I'm actually going to throw in some drawings, because obviously with rain, right, you see the weather. A lot of times on rainy days is our thunking days, right? And we start putting pencil to paper, and that happens probably more often than not, and that's why some of these projects, get dreamt up, like the shop build that I want to do, updating the chicken coop, right? Things like that. So I will include some of the pictures of that. So actually right here is what we're thinking of doing with the chicken coop. Rough drawing. I get it. It's a rough drawing. But it's going to have two separate buildings, elevated buildings on the sides. And then, be able to have easier access to clean up, like underneath the roosting area and such. And then still be able to collect eggs and all these things on the one side, and all the other chickens that we're going to be raising in the free range paddock area, Brahmas. I know, right? See, she's following. Those will be getting raised up for like meat birds. So when we go through, I don't know how many we'll do. I've said, over the years, like we would have to be able to process 10, like if we're going to eat chicken as often as we do, with our size family, we would need to process between 8 to 10 birds per month. Now, because we go do a grocery shop, and we don't necessarily buy that much chicken, so I don't think we would need to do, because we do other meals, right? We don't eat just only chicken, and out of all the meat that you can be consuming, chicken is actually really not the best choice for you as a man, all right, or as a guy, because it raises your cortisol levels. Great for women, not very good for men, right? Men need that red meat, but that's a whole different topic, right? We can get on that and just talk on that forever. But anyway, I'm gonna get you guys flipped around, because one of the things that we've talked about before is obviously shop area, and that this area was going to be driveway. Okay, we were extending the driveway. It's actually going to come, look at the corner of the house, the orange cone, just kind of think of a line coming all the way down, and then it kind of curves around to be able to go that way. Okay, and then it's going to kind of hug that fence line, staying underneath the power line. Right, this is all roads, so this is all stuff that, dozer and or tractor work, stuff that I was talking about that I need, right, is moving stuff here. Obviously, this is all going to get cleaned up, and then moving stuff over here, right, to start getting prepped for this. Now, where I stand to where this, let's say that piece of wood right there, this is actually it's hard to see on camera, but that wood is probably 3 feet taller than where I'm standing, right? There's actually a pretty significant slope right here, and all these big rocks are showing, okay? Because this is already an established road coming in, right? And we're going to kind of keep this going all the way around, dig into the ridge a little bit. We're going to clean up the ridge line and take that all the way out, almost all the way to our fence line, right, to where all that water that's coming down, because we do want to put in a wall. I know, I got big dreams, y'all, but we want all that water coming off the ridge to be able to shed, going this way to the pond and going that way, and eventually there's another little creek thing that comes off the ridge in between our property and neighbor's property that goes down to the creek, right? So that's what we're going to kind of do with that. Well, the thing with this is, in leveling this for the road, we have to build a retaining wall pretty close to, from where the orange cone sits to the house, halfway. right? It's going to kind of go back down a little bit, but there's going to be another parking area right there next to the house, covered, right? We're going to have like a carport right there by the house. That's where the Jeep or Gladys's vehicle is going to be sitting majority of the time, because eventually this is going to the kiddo and she's going to get a truck. Okay. And then there's going to be kind of like where the stumps and stuff are at, like a grassy. And actually, I'm going to throw the picture up, and I'll have the picture showing whenever I'm talking about it, right? So the shop, and like I said, it's a really rough draw, but the shop area, and then that shed is going to be right next to it. Kind of, it's going to be like a YouTube studio / studio apartment type thing. The team's probably going to stay out there. I don't know. Or be like guest accommodations whenever people come to visit. And then a little further back, right, because I had the playhouse being right next to that shed, but it's actually, the playhouse is going to be a little further behind the house. That way, and that's for our autistic kiddo, right? She got that through Make-A-Wish Foundation. And then the grassy area, right? There's going to be sidewalks. It's going to have like a little covered porch thing on the shop. And then the parking area in front of the shop, that's going to be concrete, right? We'll have that as concrete, but all the road stuff is just going to stay gravel, for now. And eventually, as years progress, we can continue. We can, if we decide we want to pave it or we want to concrete it or just do whatever, right? We can do those projects in the future. But then we still need to be able to cover. I'm going to walk off, but I'm going to forget my coffee. I know. Come on, Giggles. She's over there playing in a puddle. Come on. We're not going for a walk yet. We're going to wait for Mom to do that. See, Mommy's still sleeping. But over here, right, because obviously, think of where we're walking, is that it's going to be a wall. At least 1 foot, like 1 foot tall, maybe 1.5 feet, just to kind of help with leveling all this out. But then this area here is going to be like kind of a grassy hill, because we do need to bring in dirt to cover the septic tank. So this is going to be kind of like a hill that goes like this. So right here on this side of the septic area is kind of like a wall, right? So that's why you kind of see like a little curved wall where the sidewalk and stuff is going. And then I do kind of show like where I wanted to put some lateral lines for this septic tank. All that's obviously not going to be shown. It's going to be hidden. But yeah, the sidewalk that will come all the way down to kind of go to like the garden area that will be over here. This area, and then having the porch that goes all the way, kind of like a semi wraparound porch going around the house and things. And then we'll still utilize some like little garden boxes here in the front for type stuff. We plan on in that other grassy area over here doing maybe like a little rock garden or salsa garden or cactus garden or something. Who knows? Right, just something, just to be able to utilize that space. But all these projects, it takes time, right? And weather, right? Majority of that. And yes, I am going to need a tractor with a bucket to be able to move materials, or hire out like for a dozer. I do know that majority of this would go a lot faster with the dozer, but all of that concrete also needs to go away, or it's going to have to get broken up. That's a big project, a very big project. And doing it by hand, yeah, we can do it by hand. I do have mechanical means of breaking up that concrete into smaller chunks, and then we can just sled it, around, because I actually made a little sled. I can show pictures of that too. But I have this little sled that I made for the tractor, and there it is, because we did this. This is going to be the gnome garden. We only have like a few little garden gnomes, and then we're gonna put our name on the big rock. But yeah, it's a fairly decent circle. But I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna burn out all this vegetation, and then I'm gonna put some. I think we have brown wood chips to put in there, mulch, brown mulch. I believe that's the color we got. That's whatever I got from my mom. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that in there, and then that will be an area for Gladys to put some of the gnomes that she has, and then just like some potted things, right? So yeah, that's it. That's projects that we got coming to you, and like I said, anytime it rains, we're always thinking of something new. So yeah, that's it. And obviously, I do have some products that we need to put into the coop, but that's going to be over on the main channel. So we definitely would ask that you guys go check that out. Solar fans, I think they're going to work out great for what the coop is and what the coop's going to be. And even with us going to the lake or stuff like that, I think that they're going to be pretty nice. And if that's something that you need, right, a little portable solar fan, then definitely go check it out. All right. I know. Tell them. Say, go check it out. Okay. Well, we're going to say bye now. You ready to say bye? Look, you got feathers sticking out too. Can I get it? No? See, I like to be close, but I don't want you to touch me. She doesn't like hugs no more. All right, y'all. Well, we definitely appreciate you for following in on today's journey, and just, stick around. A lot of things are going to happen. I know it's a little slow around here on some of the things that we do. We do listen to our bodies of how much we can get done and do and stuff. Obviously limited with weather, most of it, because all this stuff's outside, and then also limited with equipment and things like that. So, but we will get there. We're getting there, closer each day. I know. Okay, I'm saying bye. All right, y'all. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and head back inside. I'm gonna get some breakfast, and then what else? That's it. So get out there, thank a veteran with every chance you get, not only on Veterans Day, and we'll see you on the next one. Later, y'all. I know you're silly.